Hey, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising. This is your tarot astrological report for the month of July 2025. And it is a very big month because Jupiter is in your first house and it will come out of combustion and out of the square with Saturn, where things have been feeling very blocked for you. But you're going to start seeing some sort of big new beginnings occurring because it's happening in your first house. Sort of some new big abundant new beginnings because Jupiter is exalted in the sign of Cancer. So these new beginnings promise a lot of long-term and immediate success, or let's just say the appearance of good success in the near in the growth spurt of abundance coming your way. Let's put it that way. And when it's in the first house, you initiate a lot of changes. You change your identity. You feel much more, shall we say, confident about yourself. You have a lot more faith in your path. You really identify with your karma, your dharma, I mean, which is your purpose and your calling. You really align to your true trajectory path. And when it's in the sign again in the crab, Jupiter likes to be in the sign of the crab because crabs make lots of little babies. So if you are of that time in your life to have children, that's another big possibility for Cancers with Jupiter in your first house. You can also gain weight with Jupiter in your first house, but Jupiter, anytime you gain weight with a Jupiter transit, you can lose it very quickly. And let's go ahead and share the screen and put the Cancer on the first house here. Let's get to that. Um, So the year, so the transit of Jupiter, you're going to have Saturn in your 10th house, which is in going to it's about to be in retrograde basically. And it was squaring Jupiter at the beginning of the month, which was causing and plus the sun was in your first house, but combust. So it was almost like these big planets were impacting your first house, but holding everything back. It was like it's like having a big bag of something really important, but you're not allowed to open it or use anything in it, kind of a vibe. Well, that's all going to change now because the sun is coming out of combustion on the full moon that's coming up. We're going to get to that in a minute. And then you're going to start seeing the abundance that this year is going to bring in for you here. But it has felt block up until now. Probably if you're watching this, you're not seeing this yet. So the month starts out with Uranus and Jupiter. Uranus, I don't know what's wrong with my brain. Uranus and Venus conjoined in the 11th house. Now Venus is in a really in its domicile energy. So it's a very positive conjunction. It makes a beautiful sextile to the 10th house. So there could be surprise news at the beginning of the month that makes you feel really like you are on an accelerated path in your career. You're going to start feeling some sort of flow going in your career. Now, or shall we say it could be a change of career. It could definitely with Saturn there, you're starting a new cycle in your career, 29, the new 29-year cycle because your Saturn, your cycle, career cycle begins when Saturn is in the 10th house, basically. So, and Saturn in your 10th house is like double, is like a malefic and a malefic. And so that usually brings really good results, malefic and a malefic. So we've got some sort of good financial news or romantic news coming in, and it makes a really nice sextile to Pluto in your eighth house. So there's some sort of really nice, surprising information that gives you a lot of blessings in your career that makes you feel very flush. But things are moving forward. You've also got this nice Mars and Sun sextile. Well, that is happening at the beginning of the month, but let's now go to the fourth. Let's go to the Venus is now going to transit into your Gemini, into your 12th house. Um, sorry, yep, it's going to go into your 12th house, but now I'm off that. I got to get Cancer back on the ascendant, but I got to go to days. That's what I got to do. So if we go to the fourth, Venus now moves into your 12th house where you could have a connect. Now, as the month begins, Saturn and Neptune's already in retrograde at this point in your 10th house, conjoining Saturn. Saturn's about to go in retrograde. So we've got relationships, creative projects, and most likely soul destined dharmic projects coming back from the past that we weren't karmically ready to do because we had too much negativity in our frequency around something that we weren't able at that time to begin. Because Mercury's about to go retrograde in Leo, where a creative project, we're having a new moon in Leo at the end of the month. I'll get there in a minute, but some kind of creative venture opens up and you've got Neptune in your 10th house. So there's some kind of a creative connection, and that Venus and Uranus, some kind of a creative project opens up, and it very could, and also travel, a potential for travel involved in this, because you're going to have the North Node in your ninth house and you're going to have Venus in your 12th. So you're definitely on some sort of new career path that it does involve creative expression. It could be writing because Uranus is going to move into Gemini. So could be a co-creative production project, media project, writing project, channeling or psychic. You've got the North Node in Pisces in your house of Dharma, which also is travel, but it's often, I found, when the North Node travels the ninth house, you really do step into more clarity about your gifts, your spiritual gifts, or what you're here to teach, or you decide to really expand your knowledge in some area that then qualifies you more for this career upgrade that's going to happen here in the next 2.5 years with Saturn in your 10th house, where there's some sort of transformation where you're becoming much more mature and taking on way more responsibilities and working a lot harder in your career. Is kind of like getting a big promotion. And then with Jupiter in your first house, obviously you have the confidence for it and the energy and the go energy, or the go Jupiter, by Jupiter and beyond, nothing can stop you, basically, Cancer. So then we've got this full moon is going to be in Capricorn. Oh, wait, let me make sure I'm not jumping around. We did talk. Oh, Uranus is about to go into your 12th house, where you do get liberated financially through some sort of media project, perhaps with a co-past relationship, past life relationship, divine partnership, true love. But perhaps there's travel and adventure involved in a media project, but liberation financially is through some kind of writing, media, as some sort of accelerated path. It kind of accelerates your life, because this Uranian energy in Gemini is really, really fiery, and or not fiery, but very, very like lightning, like electricity, like the speed of light kind of energy. So some sort of fast movement is occurring here around July 7th, because usually when the planet makes that transit, which is right after that Venus Uranus transit, so right when the planet makes that transit out of the 29th degree and into the first degree, is usually when it's most sort of volatile, potent, loud. So expect some sort of loud shift in your life around a project that is related to the past, and that moves me into the Capricorn full moon, where it will be in your seventh house of relationship, where you will discover, that's going to happen on the 13th. Oh, wait, sorry, the 10th. So the full moon is at 18 degrees Capricorn on the 10th. Where's the sun? There he goes. 18 degrees Capricorn. And ignore that 19. If I go to 18, it'll pop it out of this house. So anyway, so that's going to be in your seventh house, where you're going to see that you have cleared a lot of karma in your method of operating in relationships, where you've really learned to let go. Now, either this full moon will show where you could still get possibly triggered and there's more work to do, or you see the rewards, because Saturn retrograde, Saturn is the results of our deeds, the results of our actions, and they are just. So our actions create certain results. Saturn shows us what they are. So in retrograde, it shows us how we can, the toxicity of our actions that create not the results we want. So we're course correcting and going back, doing it better, getting our act together around this. So you've learned a lesson around relationships, which now enables you to really, this relationship comes into, it's a relationship where that needed karma to be cleared prior to coming into this union, is most likely someone from your past. It can, if you're already in a marriage, it can be a big transformation occurring in your marriage, where you end a karmic cycle in the way you treat each other, or operate in this relationship, if you give too much of yourself away or things like that. So the relationship will go through transformation. But there is definitely a new way of operating in your life, where relationships are not center stage anymore. And it looks like the center stage in your life is going to be that 10th house, stepping into, and with that North Node in your ninth house, you're really stepping into your Dharma, and you're feeling very focused about it, because Jupiter, which is a ninth house energy planet, is really putting a lot of oomph behind you. So this is a big year for Cancer. And I'm talking about a year from now until next June, July. So that full moon Capricorn brings a relationship, if you're single, brings you your relationship that you have earned through having healed and resolved old attachment issues around relationships, and that you've put your center back into yourself, and now you are ready to co-collaborate with a relationship because you're more balanced and you don't give your power away to that as much. And it may show up again because Saturn's going retrograde, Mercury's going to retrograde, and we had to do a lot of work and a lot of healing away from the relationship. Or if you were married, there might have been separation energy in that relationship, push and pull in the marriage even. So now you're finding your center and you're not allowing yourself to be sort of pushed and pulled by anybody. That means you're stay stable and steady for your true dharmic path, and that the relationship isn't, you're not, the universe doesn't lose you to a relationship. So now you're able to center in your path. And this full moon in Capricorn in your seventh house will show you if there is more work to do there, and you could get triggered. But the other thing is that a lot of times if you've been single and you now do come into your a true or healed relationship, as it were, rather than a karmic relationship, there are issues that are going to show up because at the end of the month, Chiron does go retrograde. So we have to learn some of these lessons in the relationship. Now we've learned a lot that we can learn either single or in a karmic relationship. We could have been also, if you're in a bad relationship and it's not the right relationship, that Saturn retrograde ruling your seventh house is going to show you the true face of this person. And that the full moon can also show that you want to change and end the relationship. So, but you're definitely in your power now, and Jupiter, especially being in your first house, it's like for sure. So yeah, we've talked about Saturn retrograde. So a project and a career thing from the past. I'll give you an example. I keep forgetting to use my tarot, and I really am initially a tarot reader. And then I just got really into astrology because I fell in love with it, and I still love it very much. It's very much a part of who I am, but it's not the entire story. I dropped my tarot. So Saturn goes retrograde. I've had that square with Jupiter on my ascendant. And I was going, what is my block? I felt like a block. And then I realized Saturn retrograde, it's something from my past. It's tarot. I need to center my read. When I do my readings, I always have my tarot. It's just that in my social media and in my presentations on YouTube and stuff, I very seldom show that I'm also a reader. So that's something that Saturn retrograde wants me to do. That square to my Jupiter was like, that's a big part of me. So that's from the past more. So I'm going to pull cards for Cancer here. So that Saturn retrograde and with that Neptune there, it's a spiritual, most likely spiritual. Most Cancers are healers, spiritual people that are here for some sort of holy path, sacred path. We all are, but Cancers are more, shall we say, they have a very powerful healing energy that people are very attracted to because water is healing. Um, so that retrograde Saturn and Neptune in your is going to put you in, because if the north nodes are in Pisces and Neptune is in Aries. Our north node, Neptune rules Pisces, so our north node calling and dharmic Neptune in retrograde, I think brings us more clarity on that and shows us how we can take leadership and how we can lead in that dharmic path that north node is going to open up for us in the ninth house. And then we've got the Mercury retrograde in Leo in your second house with the new moon and the sun going there on the 20th, 22nd, and new moon, Mercury retrograde, sun there all around. The 24th is the new moon, the 22nd, the sun goes in there. Mercury retrograde on the 18th. So all around that week, really, we're seeing some sort of return again from some sort of creative project from the past that does promise a new financial future and abundant beginning. And a creative, most likely Leo second house. Like a writing project, storytelling, um, teaching. Leo is also teaching, and plus the North Node in the ninth house can be teaching. And that sums it up pretty much, other than, let's see, we've got the Chiron retrograde in your seventh, so in your 10th. So some as you step forward into some of these new bigger shoes and boots that Cancer are stepping into, the Chiron retrograde may have to take you into some sort of insecurities and healings. It's going to be hard to believe that with Jupiter in your first, but Chiron will square Jupiter at some point during this year. And you're going to be tested as to whether you really believe in yourself or whether you're just, you know, there's a difference between going on your dharmic path and just sort of knowing it's the right path and then really having a lot of faith in it. And so, and really believing in it. And sometimes we get tested for that. And then you wake up to how more important it is and that you just have insecurities around it that's stopping you from devoting yourself fully. So it takes self-esteem. So a lot of people, when they step into their missions, their self-esteem doesn't quite match it. So there's going to be that Chiron retrograde, making sure we're healed and we're ready to step into it fully without any insecurities. Victory card comes out. You see, I get the Cancer card. I get knowing what you want. Mercury retrograde, a project, creative project, fire, Leo, Mercury, Leo, Cancer, Jupiter, going forward, creating a lot of abundance, transformation of the ego, which means it's things that are happening that were fate that we may have thought were over, but really we just need a transformation around. Then we get these new financial beginnings. There's that new moon in Leo. Um, Favorite card, the Temperance card, which is a Jupiter card, Sagittarius card. So that's basically saying that um, maybe there's a little bit of a stall still. That full moon, we're out of combustion on that full moon, but things are moving definitely forward. I mean, we get that Sun card coming out, which is really great, and then I see the Leo card popping out. So I have a feeling that come August, Leo season. Oh, when the sun goes in, what am I saying? August, July, mid-July, we go into Leo season. There's a very good chance if you're not married, you're going to get into, see, the Empress card comes out, forward, motion forward, some still a little confusion involved, but then we're just, somebody is available now. If this is a relationship, full moon available, because attachment, we've ended a journey. We're at the top, we're at the end of the hero's journey, we're about ready to start a new one. We've really learned how to detach. I'm a Cancer rising, so I can say this. So we've really worked through some deep attachment issues and have learned how to stand strongly on our own. Most Cancers have. Even if you're married, you can still be, and you're in the right relationship, and the relationship holds through all of this. These are still the lessons Cancers are learning and growing spiritually around. So, and then we get the Sun card here. So this really basically means that, brand new beginnings during the summer, Leo season, brand new communication coming in from a past. That's that Leo new moon with Mercury retrograde. The cards confirm it. The cards confirm it. Dream come true, Nine of Cups. That's that Neptune retrograde. Clarity on what that dream is and everything moving forward into a beautiful new chapter of your life, a brand, because you're a cardinal. So these with Aries, Jupiter in a cardinal sign, Saturn in a cardinal sign, your life is changing completely, all in four areas: relationships, living, work, and identity. I hope this was helpful to you. And if you would like a personal reading, feel free to contact me. My information is below. I also have a bi-monthly email list, which people enjoy. So do sign up for that if you like. And have a wonderful month of July and a wonderful 4th of July. Namaste.